Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Second Handwell's Weekly Challenge. This week, as per request, we're going to cover a little bit of sewing. So the materials you'll need is either your campfire blanket or uniform. A badge. In this case, I'm going to cheat a little bit for my own youth and demonstrate by sewing on his art badge. Some pins. There's also a needle. And, of course, you're going to need some thread. The pins, okay, are to pin the badge in place. And just before we start, if you notice right along here, you'll see where the border kind of transitions to the badge. That's typically where I like to sew. So you want to try and make sure that the thread is the same color as the border. In this case, it doesn't quite look it, but it is actually at least close to the same color. It is a green. So you want to start by finding the spot on, in this case, the uniform for the badge. For those that have badges to go on their uniform and actually have the badges, I did send out a badge placement chart. So we'll put the badge right there, just below the button for the sleeve. And then you just simply, without poking yourself too many times, pin the badge in place. What you want to try and do is at least estimate how much thread it'll take just to sew the badge on. Maybe even a little bit extra. And then you want to, of course, thread the needle. And then what I do, just to make it a little bit easier, is I find the two ends, get them to match up as best as possible. Then I'll wrap it around my finger once. Okay, kind of like making an overhand knot. You'll see I've got a little bit sticking up there. Stick that through the loop. Okay, and you actually form a knot. Now to start, again, we're going to use the method that I use. But basically you just take the needle and find a spot on the badge. Poke the needle down through, and pull the thread through. Initially I don't pull it all the way through, so I'll come back up as close to where I guess would be technically my first stitch is, so that way I can take my needle, find a loop in the thread that I haven't pulled through yet, pull the thread through that, and then I'll pull it tight, and what that does is it forms a knot again. It also completes a stitch. That way you won't have to worry too much about the thread pulling all the way through and then your badge coming off. And then you just count up a bit on around the border. This time you want to pull, okay, and again what I do is I just pull it through enough so that I can come back up through. And then find a spot relatively close to where I put the needle down through, and then just simply pull it through again. This time pull it all the way through. I find it prevents the thread underneath from bunching up too much. And again, Repeat as many times as it takes to get all the way around the badge. Okay. And of course, talking about bunching up, and did get it to bunch up a little bit. There. Just so everybody knows, I do have the personal achievement badges that we've been working on. I do have enough for everyone. It's with all this social distancing and so on and so forth. I haven't been able to, and we haven't been able to meet in person. I haven't been able to officially award them. So that will be one of the things that we'll do either the first or second night in September when we can start meeting again. And there's quite a few badges actually for everybody's, for just about everybody's uniforms, between the what is now will probably be our third personal achievement badge since the pandemic started, along with all of the outdoor adventure skills. I also have one or two badges, one for sure for the virtual camp that we did back in May. Okay, haven't quite completed the badge, or sewing this badge on, but just to, so you're not listening to me ramble on too much, what I do when we finish is I will go back down through. Okay, I'll pull this time I will pull the thread all the way through. No, all the way through. Okay, then I will find the back of the badge where I was sewing. And again, this is just to help facilitate making sure that the stitches won't come undone. Pardon me. Then I just simply find a spot relatively close to where I finished off, and just simply, in this case through the shirt itself, I just simply throw a stitch through the shirt itself. You got a nice big loop, so I'll pull the thread through the loop, and then I will do it again. And again, this is just to make sure that there's a knot at each end of the thread so it won't come undone. And that's it. Again, I will mention a couple things about pinning down the badges, and how I start and end my sewing. I'll be down in the description, and see everybody on Monday.